Seeing it all, we've got two Terran players ready to kick some ass. BC currently with 0 APM. I hope everything's okay for him. Anyway, spotting the top right corner of the map, he's blue, teal, cyan, light shading, whatever. It's gonna be LuckyGnom. And his opponent in the top left, almost always green or orange, given the opportunity, but mostly green. It's gonna be Beastyqt. And if you guys don't know about the number 54, just to point it out, both on the factory and the command center, there's a number 54. And this is present in a lot of Blizzard games. I don't know the meaning of the Easter egg, but if you Google it, like Blizzard 54 or something, you actually get a whole thing where it's just like in Diablo and StarCraft and Warcraft, there's always a reference to that number. And I'm sure there's probably like an explanation on Google. I've never looked too deep into it. I just noticed one day and I was like, oh, there's other things like that. Other people were like, yeah, totally, there is. You should check these screenshots out. And it's just kind of a cool little thing. It's nothing publicized and not a big deal, and it's so out of the way that it doesn't affect anything in any way whatsoever. But it's neat, and I love little things like that. I guess you classify it as an Easter egg, but it's kind of like most of these, it's like barely an Easter egg. Anyways, the big question on my mind is going to be, how do these two play out this TVT? I have not seen a lot of mirror matchups in STARBOW. A lot of these end up being TVP, ZVP, TVC, whatever. Like, it's just not mirror matchups. So, TVT is my favorite personal matchup, period, much less mirror matchup in regular StarCraft 2. I would imagine it's not too drastically different in STARBOW, with the emphasis being on the tanks, covering the ass of the tanks, and setting up siege lines where positioning dictates the game more than anything else. Bio's certainly an option, although I would imagine an unlikely possibility, as typically you don't see Bio used too often. It's going to be a quicker factory coming out of Beasty as well as LuckyGnom, though, so nothing too crazy in that regard. Not Vikings, Vultures will definitely come into effect. Spider Mines are always good to have. They always give you, like, the thing about Spider Mines, they really don't do that much damage in the long run. You can focus fire them down. The damage they get off is kind of like, whatever. If it goes off, it hurts, sure. But they give you map control, map vision, zoning possibilities, capabilities, and what have you. They're really nice to have. And in TVT, Vultures, of course, are so good at gutting a mineral line. That's why we see players walling off the front of the ramp. That danger, that fear, that scarce, like, heart, like, moment where you're like, oh god, he got Vultures into my base and I don't have enough to deal with this. But no one doing anything too crazy right now. Only one gas being asked by Theonix in chat, or Theonox in chat. Yes, this is STARBOW, not StarCraft 2. The gas refinery delivers 8 gas per trip, not 3. So you only need the one refinery to get the same effectiveness, which is kind of cool because, again, the mineral patches as well give a significantly higher income yield rate. So you need to expand still in the game, and it will get you ahead in the game. But it's not as big of a deal if you lose a base. You'll still have a pretty good amount of income off of the one you have at home. Now, Beasty has proxy to Stargate while this is going on, and this is kind of a cool move. I haven't seen a lot of Banshees in STARBOW, period. Banshees are changed pretty significantly. A full scan goes off to make sure there's nothing too crazy waiting for him over here, and that's going to be the case. To explain real quick how Banshees work, they're your typical unit. They've had their damage slightly nerfed, only ever barely slightly though, just mostly because of the way they react to the units and their armor types. Or not armor types, size types. As STARBOW doesn't use the armored light classifications for units, but uses small, medium, and large. Banshees come equipped with cloak, and the cloak that they have, it's not indefinite. It doesn't require energy, so there's no more energy cost on a Banshee. But what it does do only lasts 6 seconds. So you have to use it tactically. You can't just turn it on and be like, oh, well, goodbye to your mineral line. But in this case, LuckyGnom only has one form of anti-air. He's got a Marina, a Goliath is soon to follow up, but both of these units can probably be killed with the help of that cloak. Spider Mines have been started to place around these bridges, again, to kind of zone out and detect. We have the the barracks across the map scouting around the same way a factory sometimes does in TVP, but I do fear that the Goliath might not be enough. It's only one of them. And the Banshee, again, its damage is not exactly insane, guys, but it's pretty darn good. Starts picking off a couple SCVs here. Does cloak, and as we see, a timer bar for 6 seconds is going off. It's got a not super long cooldown, but enough of a cooldown that it's, again, it takes some tactical precision to use correctly. He can fight this Goliath once that's there. A scan may be forced, but again, a Goliath doesn't exactly have the most amount of health in the world. SCVs repairing this, though, will certainly help. and start driving this Banshee backwards. A second Banshee coming in a moment's time. A couple Vultures are trying to pick it off, but the Banshee that just spawned will clean those up. A couple more CVs might go down. Cloaking to get away. And yeah, looks like the Vultures, I keep saying Vikings, the Vultures will get cleaned up. I kind of hope LuckyGnom ends up making a Viking at some point to deal with this. Vikings have one of the coolest new attack animations, in my opinion. Banshee will just barely skirt away though, 14 health, quick units. Another one comes to the natural base, is cloaked again. You have to use this tactically, guys. You can't just set and forget it. So Beasty's got his attention driven all over the map. He's got a good chunk of workers so far, 5 in total. And let's not forget the Vultures that died trying to take out the starport. Another Banshee coming out in a moment's time. But back at home, Beasty's got siege mode almost completed. He's got siege tanks out and available. And a dropship is something I find quite curious coming out of the starport. I guess no longer wanting to dedicate too much to the Banshees. Three Goliaths certainly makes this scary though. A heartbreaking moment if he loses everything in 1-2 volleys. Every time Cloak's off cooldown, he can duck in once more, but with the Goliaths like this, I don't know that he can focus one down. SCVs will always be ready to repair, and Beasty, just gonna go for the SCV kills instead. Unfortunately, will be driven back, and well, 2 Banshee shots normally kills a worker in regular StarCraft 2. Like I said, the attack damage on a Banshee's been tweaked, and unfortunately doesn't quite one-shot a worker when you get 2 of them. Dropships, I would imagine, are going to be for Vultures, but with a second dropship coming out, he might just go for a Doom drop. So I think the idea will be to keep these Banshees alive for the follow-up attack, unload siege tanks, unload Vultures. There's a lot of dead space. You can do that in the main, and just try and overpower LuckyGnom to like one fierce attack. I don't know. Turrets are down though, so certainly limited on what he can do. Gonna pick off the refinery instead. Dropship gonna boost past the Goliaths. What gets past them is the key point. Looks like he lost one of the Banshees. Starts taking a small stretch there. Missed both of the Banshees, going to go down. Couple spider mines from LuckyGnom. I'm also going to pick off a Marine, but definitely set him to go for that drop I was describing earlier. 2 medevacs full of tanks combined with some Vultures is going to make this very difficult for LuckyGnom to hold unless he sees this is coming. And unfortunately for him, he doesn't see this coming. There's some Goliath set up here because the drop is predictable. I mean, it's a follow-up to the Banshee, but Vultures are out of the base. Goliaths are being spread out because he doesn't know where this is coming down particularly. Unfortunately, Beasty going to lose one of his medevacs with tanks. Does get both of the tanks out, though. And now with 5 tanks used up inside the base of LuckyGnom, and some spider mines even going down, too, to help zone this out. This is going to be very difficult. The production is going to get camped here. As units spawn for LuckyGnom, he's going to lose them. Quite frankly, I don't know if he's got an answer to this. Pulling SCVs may have been something he needed to do earlier, but with the tanks sieged up like this, the one that spawns just dies immediately. He's overcharging these to try and get them out a little bit quicker. Vulture's going to soak some of these hits, try and get right on top of the tanks. Spider Mines are unfortunately not in a position to take out the Goliaths, but looks like even that being the case, 5 tanks still going to be standing strong. This base is in for some trouble. Tank spawns into the siege tanks. Unfortunately, none of them... Oh, sorry, one of them could shoot them. Dead space withholding. But still, the tanks out of Beastyqt have claimed the lives of many of that of the unit of LuckyGnom. And even if he loses every single tank to this, I really feel the damage he's done has absolutely been warranted. Absolutely been worthwhile. Now, unfortunately for BC, he's behind in upgrades, but not out of this game. That attack really brought him back in solid. 22 workers killed, combined with all those Goliaths. He takes his own third behind this. Beasty's just in such a good spot this game. That drop was fantastic. The Banshees really did not get a lot accomplished this game, but they got enough done. Try one second, drink some water, guys. That Primo H2O. And as outside the doorstep of his opponent, there might be a tank here to defend, but it's only a tank. Again, you got to remember a lot of things died in that production line. Good game is going to be called, and game 1 will go to Beastyqt. So congrats to him.